Welcome to part 7 of our Fred Olsen Christmas and New Year cruise. Today we're in Lanzarote. We started our day with breakfast in the main dining room, where I had a very tasty full English and Suze had pancakes with egg and bacon. After breakfast, we went out on prom deck to have a look around the port. We were admiring Mein Schiff 3, one of the German TUI cruise ships, which was docked across from us. Then we spotted the pilot leaving our ship. We headed aft and around the other side of the ship. Where we could see the crew setting up the gangway. Then, as we had some spare time, we took a seat in the future cruise area, which was empty that time of morning. We went down to the Neptune Lounge, which was the meeting place for those taking excursions, as we'd booked to go on the wine regions of Lanzarote tour. When our bus was ready, we got off the ship and joined the other people on the trip. The bus headed out of the port. Then out of Arrecife, on its way towards the first of the bodegas we'd be visiting today. Our tour guide knew a lot of history about the island, and she gave us a good rundown of all the areas and the volcanoes that we passed on the way. We started up into the hills, and before long we began to pass the little walls and pits that each contain a grapevine. The way these are planted, with the black lava rock over the soil, they collect the dew overnight and don't need to be watered, which on an island as dry as Lanzarote is pretty much essential. We pulled up at the first bodega. And once the group was gathered, took a look around at the grapevines and the volcanoes. We then headed inside the wine shop. where we were each given a rather small sample of wine. We could pick sweet or dry. I chose the dry, Suze went with the sweet. and I think she made the better choice. I left Sue's browsing in the gift shop and went for a look around outside. I love this barren landscape in Lanzarote, with volcanoes visible on every horizon. Pretty soon our time here was up, and we were back on the coach, headed for our next destination. Which turned out to be just across the road. We got off the coach and grouped up again, before heading inside. They'd definitely gone all out on the wine theming here. Even the lampshades were made from wine bottles. And there's bottles on the floor and on every shelf. Our guide told us this has been the bishop's house back in the 17th century, but had been buried during a major volcanic eruption. Then, much later, dug out and restored to what it is today. I went down into a little function room in the courtyard, which had a glass floor with again a lot of wine bottles laid out underneath. Then went upstairs for a look around. Up there, I admired the view from the balcony, and had a quick look around the upstairs, where there wasn't too much to see as it was unfurnished. So I went back out to the courtyard and headed out through the side, where there's a nice looking restaurant and bar, which unfortunately we hadn't got time to use today. I then passed by these statues of great pickers and rejoined our group inside, where we got a rather small table considering the size of our group, and some cheese and peanuts, along with 2 tasters of wine, 1 white and 1 rosé. And I have to say, neither of these blew us away. We normally really enjoy wine from Lanzarote. We've been here several times and always drink the local wine, but today's picks definitely weren't the best. Suze did buy a bottle of the sweet wine from across the road, but we didn't choose anything from here. Wine trip over, we carried on up the road, passing by more bodegas and vineyards, then arriving at the lava fields, which are a rugged and really impressive sight, and have been used as scenery in a lot of movies and TV shows over the years. On the way back, we stopped at Casa Museo del Campesino, which is a local cultural centre, dedicated to the traditional way of life and agricultural heritage of the island. They had some nice and very neat gardens, which we wandered around. Then we descended this spiral staircase and followed this lava brick tunnel. Which ends in these impressive underground dining rooms. We got back on the bus and headed towards the sea. Passing by this small Christmas tree and rather out-of-place reindeer on the way. And shortly after, we were pulling back into the port. where we went through the cruise terminal, then back on board for some much needed lunch at the poolside cafe. We both chose the burger and fries today, which was really tasty. Then got a seat in the observatory, where we watched a rather large Xmas ferry reversing in to dock in front of us. I had a beer, and Suze had the cocktail of the day, which was one we'd had before. Then we could feel our ship moving, so we went out on deck to watch sail away. We pulled slowly out of the harbour. And then we watched the pilot leaving the ship and heading back to land. Then we were out into the open sea and pulling away from the Canary Islands. We're lucky enough to be coming back here in a few months. Just then, I noticed the Lido deck roof closing. So I stopped to film that, alongside a few other interested folk. Then we went and changed for dinner, popping out on promenade deck for a look at the sun sinking towards the horizon. In our wake. Dinner was in the Bloomsbury main dining room. I started with smoked salmon Napoleon. Suze had empinadillas. I then had a Caesar salad, and Suze had Mediterranean lentil salad. For main, I had pan-fried sea bass, and Suze had steak pie. For dessert, I had treacle sponge, and Suze had mandarin cheesecake. This was another very tasty meal. After dinner, we went through to the Neptune balcony. We love that Fred Olsen not only allow drinks in the theatre, but come round and take orders before the show starts. Tonight's show was the magician Mark Oberon for his second performance. This wasn't as good as the first, but it was still good fun to watch. Following this, we went for a couple of drinks in the piano bar, then back to our cabin, where our laundry had been returned. This only took a day to do, and is a very reasonable cost per bag. And then we got some sleep. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the video.